Welcome back. Well, as we've been pointing out, it's going to be a good start. The only problem is, sometimes we chase these moves. There could be disappointment, especially in the second half. Amit Gupta is with us, head of derivatives at ICICI Securities. Amit, hi, good morning. What are your top trades today?
Yeah, good morning. See, one is the private banking space, which is looking really good right now. There are certain stocks which had not participated so far. They are coming out of the shell. One of them is DCB Bank. It's a 10-year breakout because in 2008 also you had the same level of 160, 170. In 2015 it attempted those levels but could not give a breakout. But finally after a period of 10 years in June 2018, we saw finally that level was taken out. It had a move towards 210. Now it is just retesting those levels and then reverting back. So my sense is the downside in the stock is over now, and if you see what is happening in the open interest, now clearly we are seeing the closure of positions. So the people who had gone short from 210 to almost 160, 170 levels, now they are closing their positions. So they are respecting their 10-year breakout levels. So I think the risk reward looking at this seems to be very, very favorable, and I think the stock now eventually should move beyond 205 or 210 levels now. So it's a good upside which is possible in the stock. And in the future space, in the last 2 weeks, I think almost 15% of closure we have seen. So that's a very encouraging sign to buy the stock right now. Now another one is we are picking from the pharma space. See, we have seen in bits and pieces the pharma stocks have been performing. Sometimes there is some profit booking, but again they are pulling back. But that kind of volatility is missing in Biocon. So Biocon has been very, very stable stock. In fact, in September-October period, when there was some profit booking in the pharma overall pack, then Biocon had a fall from 710 to almost 600 levels, but that was the only fall it had. And then afterwards, if you observe the delivery pickup in the last quarter, it has been really increasing near 600 levels. In fact, it has exceeded almost 22% than the previous whole year delivery. So my sense is after this fall, the investors have started picking up it, and now if you look at the open interest, it has declined by 35%. In the last 4 series, continuously the rollovers have been on the lower side. So people who went short in September-October series, they have started closing their position. So my sense is the stock is getting ready for a move towards 695. So you can start buying this now.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Amit Gupta, for giving us your picks, private sector banks and Biocon. I guess ICICI was, private sector banks and Biocon trade strategies coming in from Amit Gupta. Well, with that, let's welcome SP Tulshan of sptulshan.com. Good morning, sir. First up, IndusInd, everyone knows that the profit is going to be impacted by some provisioning that they will do for IL and FS. How would you approach the numbers? What would your expectations be, and how would you approach the stock?
Lata, I think for Q3 we have to be very careful in respect to the ILFF provision, and that will be seen maybe getting applied to all the banks, starting with the IndusInd Bank. And if we all recall that in Q2 again, because of that ILFS only, the share has been since then has been taking a beating. So yes, that will going to be a serious issue. And generally, we have seen that after the results, the IndusInd Bank stocks corrects maybe for a couple of days and then it bounces back. So yes, the concerns on account of the ILFS provisioning is going to remain there, because that's the news report which we have been getting, that all the banks will be required to, because the Reserve Bank has not given any kind of forbearance to the ILFS loans. So the provisions are now, it's only a matter of quantum, that what kind of treatment is being given to the ILFS subsidiary exposure and directly to the ILFS. So yes, that remains a cause of concern. And going by the history, even if I exclude this ILFS saga, then also, as I said, that there is a typical behavior of IndusInd Bank, correcting after the results. They take a couple of days to stabilize, and that then again starts moving up. So maybe with that, cautious view for the day ahead of the results.
Mr. Tulsi, good morning, sir. We have pretty disappointing, sales numbers, provisional numbers from Tata Steel, but the stock is already close to its 52-week low. How do you expect it to behave from here on as we get the actual numbers and earnings?
See, Surbi, when we have been taking the positive call on the ferrous steel stocks, we have been excluding this Tata Steel from that list. Because if you really see the problem for their overseas assets, they are talking of exiting from Southeast Asia, and they have already been trying hard to exit from their chorus assets, by bifurcating some part of the assets and giving it to the Thyssen Group. And if you see the blotted balance sheet of about 2 crore, loan of over 1 lakh crore, and having acquired the Bhushan Steel also for about 45,000 crore has definitely increased this one. I'm not saying that the Bhushan Steel acquisition was not good, but their Indian operations are seen to be doing quite well. If you see their standalone operations and even the Kalinganagar, 3 million ton capacity having added last year, and with this Bhushan Steel, the smart turnaround. In fact, the domestic operations are seen to be doing exceedingly well, and in fact, the debt, on the standalone or maybe for the domestic operations are seen very much sustainable. But this is more the problem on the overseas operations. And even for the Thyssen Group, if we talk of the, though the analysts, some analysts have been saying that 20,000 crore debt will get reduced, but that will just get transferred to an associate company or to the joint venture, in which again Tata Steel will be holding 50%. So I don't think that these kind of juggleries or these kind of accounting entries, will really be sufficient to take a comforting call on the stocks. And on top of it, these ferrous steel stocks have seen again a big beating in their product prices. And unless until this China trade war resolves or the government takes the steps to increase the import duty from 15% to 25%, which is likely, because that is what has been done in the past also by government having initiated the MIP. Probably that can only be seen to be the saving grace. But otherwise, we have been, because of the cautious stance on the ferrous steel stocks, definitely Tata Steel falls the lowest in the list. Maybe with the top pick being JSW Steel or Jindal Steel and Power, or maybe Steel Authority of India. So Tata Steel continues to remain a sore point as of now.
Okay. Thanks for that background, Mr. Tulsian. Just coming back to you, we are getting some breaking news from Ritu Singh, our correspondent, who has been working the phones with bankers on the Jet Airways loan restructuring. Good morning, Ritu. What are you picking up?
Well, good morning, Lata. Yes, Jet Airways, along with Etihad, representatives met SBI officials yesterday. And what was really discussed is, the next steps for the company, because 1st of Jan is when the first default happened, and therefore banks have a 6-month window to approve a resolution plan, failing which Jet will have to be sent to bankruptcy. So what has been discussed so far is, SBI in very clear terms has turned down Jet Airways' request for any fresh loans until the results of the forensic audit report are in. Do remember, EY has been appointed for a forensic audit on the books of Jet Airways. Second, banks clearly want to change ownership as far as Jet is concerned. They've made it clear that they want Naresh Goyal to give up majority control and step down from the board as well, after which they'll be looking at a restructuring of the company's debt. What they're asking is, Naresh Goyal, along with Jet, Etihad Airways, which owns about 24% stake in the airline, together bring in some fresh funds, and the remaining portion of the debt, about half of the debt, will be restructured by the banks. And given that some repayments are due, in the next 2 to 3 months, there's also a moratorium period being spoken of by banks, which means, banks may allow, some relief on loan repayment until April, once the restructuring plan is approved. This is largely the contours that SBI-led bankers are working with. Yesterday the meeting was only with State Bank of India officials. We understand that other lenders will also be meeting, with Jet Airways very soon. But, next steps will very importantly be dependent on what the forensic report results are. And only after that will the next step be taken. Also, SBI did seek progress on Jet Airways turnaround plan, but so far, nothing concrete has materialized in terms of selling, a stake in the airline to any one particular player, is what we're given to understand.
Right, Ritu Singh, thank you very much for those details. We have to get into a break, but we're going to come back and discuss all these issues with Mr. Tulsian as well.